I think we're allowed to go live now. And you should be able to hear me, hopefully. But please let me know in the comments. And let me lower the volume a bit, but I also think I removed the music. Yeah, let me put the music back. The new soundtrack is one of the very cool things about this DLC. And let me check the chat on my phone. Sorry guys, 1 second. Yes, there we are. There we are. Okay, let me see first of all if there were some questions before the stream. We are early. It's scratching and yeah, when it releases, I don't know. Depends on the time zone, but yeah, tomorrow. Many different streamers now live because this is the official embargo end time. So every streamer will probably be live now. Those who can afford it. Hatless Spider, by the way, something that we will be doing together soon. So say hi to him if you're in his stream. Ah, ciao Preto. What do you mean, Kash? I always reply to everyone. What do you mean I hate you? What did I not reply to? SPQR is extremely correct. That's an extremely right assumption for a very for the very next video. Okay, boys, so first of all, what are we going to do today? Not much, because it's super late for me. It's 2 AM, so the things you do for love. So I do want to show you some stuff and answer your questions, but we will not be going for a playthrough because I don't have time. I need to sleep at some point, so I don't actually have time for a full playthrough. But there is still plenty of stuff to show you. So yeah, let's start. Maybe the main thing, I want to mention a bit about all of the main changes with the DLC. I was also in the HOI4 live stream earlier with the developers. I checked what they talked about as well. Play as Japan is better than sleep. Is the UK harder to invade now? Oh, that's the big question. That's the very big question. But we'll get there. We'll get there. One thing at a time. Maybe, what do you say, guys? Should we start with the... Let me actually do one thing. I'm very bad at these things, but let me try. So I want to try and create a poll here. Let's see, just to decide, to determine what... Wait, what do you mean? Ah, yeah, what to start with. Let's say focus trees. Navy. Coal. Doctrines. What do you want to check out first? What do you mean Heartless starts in 1 hour? Did I get the timing wrong, guys? No, tell me that some other YouTubers are live, please. Tell me that other YouTubers are live, or I'm breaking the embargo and that's it. I will be banned forever. That's the end. That's the end of Machiavellian Strategist. Okay, oh, I see. Focus trees were dominating. Focus... but there is a comeback now. Cool. A comeback from coal. I'll give you 1 more minute, and then we end it. I am from Italy, but I live in Japan. I am right here, right now. Exactly, like more or less here. Around this house here. Near the sea. So yeah, that's tough. So in any case, let's say one thing. While the poll is ending, since focus trees are winning anyway, it looks like focus trees are the thing. So let's talk about focus trees first, right? And let's start with Japan. Okay. Hello from Bergamo. Ciao. So Japan has probably the biggest focus tree. Now I will show you the other ones very briefly. Yeah, I will show you the warlords, which are, by the way, the ones I explored the least. So Japan is probably the most well-known one as well. But so what about Japan? The fun thing is the historical focus tree, which is politically wise this one. It's not even that big. So early on, you need to make a choice between 3 options at an event. I can even show you the event because it's very soon. You cannot actually select these focuses at the beginning. And these, as you can see, are 0 days focuses. So they did something quite interesting in terms of the focus tree and the focus durations. So just a couple of examples. So this one are 0 days. Then there is one here which is 21 days. That's also a little weird, no? Not something we're used to in terms of duration of focuses. Then there are some 70 days one. There are some 14 days one. And some 35. Most of them in here are actually 35 days. Then and again some 70 and 35. Then something interesting is this, for example. This one takes 70 days. All of these series here. But if you complete this focus here, guide the Zaibatsus before these ones, then they are reduced to 35 days. So some focuses are influenced by other focuses you pick. And I want to show you the very first one, just very briefly. So let's say that we go for my build, because by the way, I have an insane build for Japan. Okay, should I give you a little spoiler? Let me give you a little spoiler. Just a little spoiler. Just a little spoiler, boys. Okay, this is the spoiler. China doesn't appear as, for some reason, as a puppet, but as you can see, China is my puppet. But yeah, so this is a little spoiler of what you will be getting very soon, next week. Members will get it a bit earlier. And mind that this is in April 1939, okay? Also, I annexed everything, but generally I would puppet instead. I just wanted to show you what we control. This is not all that we control. There are some puppets that I will leave hidden. I don't want you to know about those puppets. So you will find out in the main guide. That said, let's go back to the beginning actually, because I want to show you something else about the events. And also one more thing, Japan is not, it wasn't easy to figure out, because now you start as non-aligned. And this, in my opinion, was the biggest nerf ever to Japan. Starting as non-aligned means basically that you cannot justify war goals on anyone. So no early expansion, no early war on the United States. Hi Yomi, welcome. And no strategy that I used before, which was war on Siam and then a crazy naval invasion from Siam of the Netherlands. Well, none of that is possible because you cannot justify war goals. And to flip fascist, you need to complete this focus here. This is the one that makes you fascist. And as you can see, it's not a super early focus. I mean, it's... first of all, this one is not available, right? But then there is 70 days. Then you cannot pick this one right away. There is an event which lasts, I forgot how many days after this. So after, like, say, 200 days or something like that, you pick this one, then this one, then this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So quite a while before you can flip fascist. Now let me show you one second, then we move on to the other ones. But I want to show you the first event and how it determines which path you're going for. So initially you cannot pick any of the political paths. All of these political paths are locked. You cannot pick them. So you need to pick another 2 focuses instead. These 2 work well because it's the exact amount of time that you need. 35 plus 21. So now we get to the end of this one. And we will get an event. There is the event. So it's on this event here, you basically pick your path. And depending on the choice you make here, you change your leader and you unlock one of the 3 paths. Historical Japan, Fascist Japan. The central one is non-aligned Imperial Japan, let's say. So this is all about non-aligned. And the left path is the Democratic and Communist path. So left-right becomes Democratic. Left becomes Communist. And well, these are the options. I did not explore these ones. The only path that I extensively explored and that I showed you earlier is the historical fascist one, which is also the one available for free to everyone. Because these ones here, you need the DLC to play them. Okay, now I think we talked we talked enough about Japan, so because we want to be brief, let's move on to something else. So you said you wanted to see the Philippines and the Chinese factions. Let's do that. Let's do maybe the Philippines first. The Philippines first because I actually did explore the Philippines a little bit, and I have some very sad news here about the Philippines. So the focus tree is not particularly big. As you can see, it's a fairly small focus tree. We have what was it? Here we have the army related ones. Here we have navy. Here we have some political ones, some other political ones, economic ones in the center, and I forgot what these ones are about. I think it's about relations with the United States, so more like remaining in the States. No, definitely not as big as you would imagine, but there is something cool here. So the path that I was exploring, the one run I tried, is oh, thank you, Rick. Yeah, that was not a great experience. So the path that I was exploring was the right path here, and then down to integrating Spain, which is quite fun because after completing these two focuses, you go down these. And it unlocks proposed unification with faction member and force integration of Hispanic nation. Now, I don't know if they can refuse. In my only test run, they did not refuse. So upon completing that focus, I just instantly annexed Spain. Just like that, which was fun. But not only that, because from this one, yeah, this focus here, you get to invite all of the Spanish speaking nations to your faction, which means basically all of South America, Mexico, and so on. And then after completing this one, you can unify with them, integrate them, and make them your core. Okay, now, so this is quite overpowered. The thing is, it takes a while to get there. This is not super fast. Mind that, unfortunately, I know many of you hate 70 days focuses, but as you can see, 70, 70, 70, 70, 35, 70, 35, 70, 70, 70. So, quite a lot of 70 days, right? So maybe you will not be too happy about this, but the main thing here was where is it? 1 second. Yes, you need to complete this one, War of Independence. And War of Independence means you need to become independent from the United States, because you start as a puppet of the a colony of the United States. So the thing was, when I tried in my test run, I selected this focus and it says, I don't know if it says it, yeah, down there, you can see it at the bottom. United States will take this decision if the Commonwealth of the Philippines successfully defends itself for a year. So if you declare independence and then you need to defend the Philippines for 1 entire year against the United States, and then you finally become independent. And that 1 year might become shorter if you manage to conquer one of their islands, and there is only one next to us, which is Guam, or if they are at war with somebody else. I already showed Japan. You can maybe do it later, but you can go back at the beginning of the live. We started with Japan. Maybe later we'll go back to Japan. So anyways, when I tried this, the United States immediately gave up. Immediately gave me independence again. So I didn't have to do anything. Unfortunately, I will blame this on Bitter Steel, but we did it together actually, unfortunately. So we reported this as a bug and they fixed it. So now it looks like you actually need to defend yourself for 1 year, and this focus doesn't just immediately make you independent. It wasn't gonna last anyway. Okay, now let's... yeah, okay, one thing though. Let me say one thing about the focus trees. It takes time. By the way, tomorrow I will release a video about this in which we cover all of the news and updates and so on. It takes a while, and I don't want to be too judgy too soon. I don't know yet. So far, though, I must say I saw some influence from Graveyard of Empires. I saw focus trees that attempt not to be too overpowered, and in doing so, they result quite underwhelming. Like, this is a good example. There is a lot of potential here. Integrating and coring all of the South American countries, that's awesome. The problem is all of these 70 days focuses and waiting 1 year at war with the United States. Yeah, that's a Graveyard of Empires kind of stuff. So maybe not great. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, let me see. Let me see the chat a bit. Could you look at updated Manchukuo 3? Okay, let's take a look at that. Looks like Raj 2.0. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. No, Peter's stream crashed. Yeah, stay on my stream then. They fixed the trick to invade UK. Yes, I will talk about naval invasions a bit later. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. So you wanted to see Manchukuo. By the way, here are the new focus trees. So it's Philippines, China, Communist China, Manchukuo. Then there is all the Chinese factions and Xinjiang. Let's go in this order and let's do it briefly. So we talked about the Philippines. Let's talk about China. China is another one that I explored a little bit. So the Chinese focus tree is fairly big. It's especially wide, I must say, which is not exactly enjoyable to explore because you need to constantly move the screen. In the end, actually, it's not as big as it looks because these are alternative branches. So it's either this one, or this one. And these are the usual stuff. So there is Navy, Air, Army. So it's not as big as it looks, right? I explored this part here, and I explored this part here, which are more or less historical. I must say, I didn't have the best time. As China, you start with a huge deficit in terms of... I mean, you have a huge army, but as you can see, look at the strength on our armies. It's like they completely suck. And this is something some of the other creators also mentioned. As China, you feel like the whole run, you need to fight, and you don't have the guns to fight. And... I see potential in China, but it seems tough at the same time. Let's move on to something else though, because there are many things to cover, and as I mentioned, I don't have that much time. So I want to briefly show you all of the trees, at least how big they are. And then I will tell you a bit more about the ones that I explored more. Like Communist China, I had a very good guide, right? It's one of my favorite runs, the one as Communist China. And that guide doesn't work anymore. It's completely screwed. But the problem is China seems to be in a much tougher spot right now than it was before. So the focus tree is not big, as you can see here. The problem is, well, what we used to do was, in my guide at least, declare war on all of these puppets right away and immediately take them down. But that's no longer possible because... they all have too many divisions. We don't have divisions. All of the Chinese factions start with destroyed divisions with no strength. It's now very difficult to push them and take them early. But especially, the only way to do that is through a path in the focus, which I need to find now. I don't know if I can find it. Where was it? I think it's this one. Yeah, okay, so this path gives you a next war goals on all neighboring warlords. And I don't know if it extends. So if you keep expanding, you keep getting war goals. Because unfortunately, when I took it, I couldn't even take down Shaanxi. So I don't know. And the other biggest issue is that when you declare war on these puppets, actually China joins against you. So that's a bit tough. That's a bit tough. So I don't know, maybe there is potential. Again, this is something that is not it takes time, you know? You need to explore the tree, you need to run several times over all of the paths, and then you find the potential and the good ones. The first time I played Austria, I hated Austria, and now it's one of my favorite countries. So I don't want to judge too early. So far, it doesn't look great to me. Japan is good with my strategy. The other ones, so-so, I would say. Let's move on to Manchukuo, which some of you asked earlier. Actually, I never opened this one, so I have no idea. I'm checking it as you for the first time. So, not a huge focus tree, I can say, for sure. And I don't think now we can go in and check the focuses, guys, because this one I didn't explore, so there isn't much I can tell you about this one. We are just going to briefly check out all of the focus trees like we're doing now, and then we move on to one of the other changes in the DLC, because there are some big ones that I want to talk about. And then I also need to check the chat, which I'm completely ignoring right now, so sorry. Let's see the puppets, actually, or the warlords. By the way, I had some amazing sushi tonight, but so thirsty. Okay. Let's see this focus tree. Now, what I wanted to see about these focus trees is, wow, this is very small. I wonder if it's bigger than the non-focus tree nations. Seems like it's more or less the same as a nation without a focus tree. But of course, expecting a huge focus tree for all of these warlords would have been crazy. Okay, let me answer some questions here. I missed everything. Use tag nation, yeah, but I don't know the tags for all of these countries. Is there a published list of country tags somewhere? Yeah, there's just too many warlords now. Can you show Shanxi? Yeah, probably it's one of the next ones. Debug and over a nation to see country tag. Yeah, maybe we can do that now. Let me try that. Actually, I've never done it. So, yeah, right. That's a good idea. But the thing is, I still don't know exactly which ones got the focus tree. So from the initial screen, we can click directly on them. That's probably a bit better. Let me see some other comments here. Have paradox add so that if you choose one path in focus tree, the others will disappear. No, I mean, it has always been like that, but for some reason not entirely. Part of the tree disappears, but sometimes they don't disappear. The main ones disappear. So when there is something like this, I believe they do disappear, the ones that you do not pick. In the case of Japan, for sure. Like, so this is the default focus tree of Japan, since somebody asked about it earlier. And as you can see, there are some alternative paths in here. And then if you load my OP run, so you can see it again, you can see that in here the focus tree is now much smaller, because all of the alternative history ones which were on the left disappeared. So now we only have the historical one, and military and economic ones. Let's move on to another warlord, and then I will check the chat a bit more. So we did this one. I wanted to see about the puppets mostly, the warlords mostly, if they have completely different focus trees or if they're very... I think they are the same. Isn't it the same as the one we just saw? I guess something must be different. Let's check very quickly. So we have secure internal politics, opposition, cooperation, nationalist, communist, opposition. Okay. Now let's tag another one. So let's say it was enabled. GDC. Yeah, so this part seems to be the same. This part seems to be the same. But something in here is different, right? We have the Japanese visit, develop this place. And if we tag sick. So the left path seems to be exactly the same, but this one's slightly different as far as I can see, right? The develop part is probably the same, but in a different place. Yeah, so there is a risk that these paths are very similar. These focus trees are very similar. By the way, here you can see something else that we need to talk about. But let me check the chat a bit more. Shanxi, we'll get there. Will you cover also communist or democratic Japan? Alessandro, it depends very much on how the DLC does. So if it does well, because the historical Japan is free for everybody, so it will be the new Japan. So that's for sure. The other ones depend a little bit on how the DLC does. Shandong, will you cover also the USA as to be the next DLC? Maybe. Manchuria looks a lot better than the old focus tree. Yeah, the Manchuria one is not big, but it's surely better than before. Politics have changed. Did they fix spearheads? No, they didn't fix spearheads. At least in my builds, spearheads are still broken. So I don't know what to say anymore. Just accept that it's broken. The warlord can get the regular China tree at some point. Okay, then that's the main thing. That's the important one. It's hard to get bad sushi in Japan. I agree. I totally agree. Sushi is always great. Doctrines better, stronger, worse. We'll talk about that. That's one of the main topics. Let's leave it for a little bit later. If you're going to observer mode, okay, you can click. How's the navy? We'll talk about that. The rightmost part is different. Yeah, I'm a bit behind, boys, because I didn't read the chat, so let me get there. Okay, check Xinjiang. Okay, let's check Xinjiang. True. That one should be different. I could have tagged that one, actually, easily, but I want to see what we haven't checked yet in terms of trees. So we checked... well, these ones, okay, we know at this point, right? They're all the same. No point in looking at them. More or less the same. But they do probably get slightly different modifiers. So these ones are the same, the starting ones, but down here they have different descriptions and stuff. Let's check Xinjiang and then let's move on to a different topic. Let's see the Xinjiang tree. No, it's the same. It's the same. The path here is the same, and the path here is slightly different. So there is some unique stuff always on the right, but part of it is the same. Okay, yeah, I will try to remember to turn it off. The Japan flag, because it's non-aligned Japan. It's not imperial fascist Japan yet. Later on, you get the typical fascist Japan flag. I don't know. I haven't tried, but now naval invasions are much harder. That's one of the other topics. So let's let me start another poll for the next topic here. No, let's go in the order you selected earlier. So let me end the poll now. So you get the results and we move on to the next favorite topic. So focus trees, most of you wanted to see that. Okay. Now doctrines. Okay, let's talk about doctrines. This is the one I definitely know the most. I am the most experienced. I prepared an insane document. Maybe I can show you a little spoiler here. Let me do that. Just give me a second, but it's worth it because I put so much work into it. And from tomorrow, when the embargo lifts, the tier 2 members of the channel will have access to it. And I think it's really worth it. I think you will really, really like it. So I want to show you too many spoilers, but where is it? Wait 1 second here. Okay, there we go. So all I want to show you here is, can you see the amount? Wait 1 second. No, you cannot see it because it's a bit... No, that's wrong. How do I make it? I wasn't pressing the right one, maybe. Okay, I don't know how to show you what I wanted to show you, but yeah, it's big. It's 29 pages of all of the doctrines, all of the buffs, all of the sub doctrines, everything rated, everything ranked, builds. You get a lot of stuff in here. So this document has it all, and it was yeah, a huge amount of work. Now let me close this. Now, yeah, in there you probably also saw the Japan guide, which is also ready for you. But what I want to show you now is the doctrines in game. So let's go straight into there. This is the usual officer core tab, and from here you now have access to the several tabs. And if you start with a country that doesn't have a doctrine selected at the beginning, you will be asked to select a grand doctrine. So you go here, and then, well, these are the familiar ones, right? We have mobile warfare, superior firepower, grand battle plan, mass assault. They changed though completely. So everything about the buffs, or most of the things about the buffs from the doctrines, is completely different. I don't know how much but yes, everybody will be showing you, so there is no point in keeping it a secret. So this tooltip down here, by the way, super useful, boys. Don't forget about it. If you select it, well, actually, let me show you something. So initially you're asked to pick a grand doctrine, and you see, if you go over it, the buffs that you get right away. So mobile warfare, you immediately get plus 10% division speed, 20% planning speed. You also get a unique tactic. Superior firepower, I have some sad news. I have some very sad news, guys. It was my beloved too, but it's tough. It's tough. We'll get there, but it's tough. In any case, this is mobile warfare, okay? You see the initial buffs, and you see the tactic. So you unlock it. Okay, now you have access to all of the sub-doctrines. The other thing that is tied to the grand doctrine are not sub-doctrines. Sub-doctrines are always available to all grand doctrines. So grand doctrines and sub-doctrines are not connected at all. The only other thing that you get from the grand doctrine, in addition to these buffs that you can see here, are the milestones, which are these ones. You get the milestones when, say that we pick mobile infantry. So after you fully complete mobile infantry, you get the mobile infantry milestone, which depends on the grand doctrine. So now we are on mobile warfare, and this milestone gives us organization loss when moving minus 15%, reinforce rate, and delay. If we move on to grand battle plan instead, this milestone will now give us 5% max entrenchment, plus 1 brigade size, and elastic defense. So the milestones depend entirely on the grand doctrine, while the sub-doctrines are independent from the grand doctrine. Now, if you select this icon down here, you can see, just by going over the grand doctrine, everything you get. What you get right away, as well as what you will get when you complete all milestones, okay? You can do all four, all four, yes, absolutely. You do all of them here. I will talk about that a bit later, but yes. So for now, the first choice is you need to select the grand doctrine. And to choose, you only base your choice on what you see on the screen right now, okay? Am I covering it? No, you should be able to see it. Okay, so mobile warfare, speed, division speed, planning speed, then you get organization loss when moving, minus 15%, organization loss when below 25%, minus 10%, reinforce rate, planning speed plus 30%. That's quite big. That's quite big. The brigade size, but that's the same for everybody. Actually, reinforce rate and brigade size is the same for all of them. And then you get some tactics. So tactics are another thing that is connected to the grand doctrine. Okay. The other thing that is connected to the grand doctrine are spirits. And now we got some new spirits. So you can see from here there are more spirits than before. That's for a few reasons. Mainly because you see all of them now. You don't just see the ones that are available to your grand doctrine, you also see the other ones. But they also added some entirely new ones. So for example, this one is new, I believe. And in here, what's new is this one is new. You get more army experience from volunteers. 50%, that's a lot of army experience, by the way. Like, huge amount of army experience. This one is new. This one is new. I think that's about it for this tab. And in here, this one is new. This one is pretty interesting. Plus 100% chance of using breakthrough and buffs to artillery. This one is new and quite interesting. Plus 25% hard attack. Then this one is new. This one is not new. This one is not new. These ones are not new, I believe. All of them are old. Political loyalty is still there, right? Where is it? We don't have it because we are... I believe we don't have it because we're communist. But now you are worrying me. Where is my political loyalty? Nah, yeah, it's there, it's there. Okay. Political loyalty is there. No worries, no worries. We got it. I feel better with Germany already. I feel a bit more relaxed. Okay, so when choosing your Grand Doctrine, you also need to pay attention to the spirits, because some spirits are now tied to the Grand Doctrine. So this was the case before, but where is another one? Quick improvisation. Quick improvisation used to be a spirit of the army and used to be free. Now it's only for mobile warfare. So you can only pick it if you picked mobile warfare. And so some of them are unique to the Grand Doctrine. In my insanely long document, all of the spirits are also listed with all of the related information. They also added new spirits to the Navy, so there is a lot of new stuff in here. Of course, now we cannot check everything, guys, but less to the... There is something new in here too, but less air spirits, more Navy spirits. Now, let's talk again about the doctrines. So, okay, so we talked about mobile warfare, right? Now let's talk about Grand Battle Plan. Grand Battle Plan, you get max plannings plus 10% right away, daily command power, and the well-planned attack tactic. Then you get the usual reinforce rate and stuff. You get plus 20% coordination, that's huge. And you get the max entrenchment just 5, and another plus 30 maximum command power, which is also good. Should we do it, guys? Should I show you the sad news? Are you ready to be sad? Tell me in the chat if you're ready to be very sad. Are you mass assault kind of sad or superior firepower kind of sad? Which kind of sadness do you want to see first? Okay, let's go for mass assault sadness then. When you pick mass assault, you get a whooping minus 10% non-combat out of supply penalties. You get plus 48 hours supply grace. That's it. Nah, that's it. Yeah. And then when you complete all of the milestones, you get another minus 5% non-combat out of supplies penalties. And that's it. Minus 10% minimum training level, 0.10% weekly war support for combat casualties. It's sad. It's very, very, very sad. Okay, boys, are you ready to see the superior firepower sadness? It's a bit less sad, but it's still pretty sad. Okay, let's do it. Let's see. So superior firepower, there we go. You get line artillery soft attack 10%, support artillery soft attack 5% right away. Then you get supply consumption minus 10% on completing all milestones. You get the usual stuff, and plant preparation decay rate minus 20%. You get 10 organization on support companies plus 0.60 recovery rate on army. So, I will have a dedicated video on this, okay? But Superior Firepower used to be very balanced because it used to buff all support companies. Now it doesn't buff all support companies. So it's very focused on one thing. So the thing here is, guys, 10% soft attack on line artillery, 5% soft attack on support artillery, but Grand Battle Plan gives you 10% planning. 10% planning is 10% soft attack on everything. It's very, in my opinion, it's very difficult to find a reason not to pick Grand Battle Plan now. Very, very difficult. Especially if you consider that all of the best spirits are Grand Battle Plan as well. Theater Training, Tip of the Spear for Special Forces, and Logistical Focus. These are the best spirits and they're all Grand Battle Plan. So, I don't know. Right now, the way I see it, I will make a dedicated video, but the way I see it is you can pick Mobile Warfare if you go for Germany. If you are Germany, you can pick Mobile Warfare. Because actually the extra speed, the planning speed, the organization loss, all of this stuff works well with tanks, so it's good. In multiplayer, you still go... I don't see any multiplayer game not going Grand... Maybe I will be completely wrong. I hope I will be completely wrong. In my opinion, every single multiplayer game will be Grand Battle Plan. Only. And by the way, guys, mind that it used to be... I don't know if I can tell you this, but hopefully yes. Don't tell anyone. So Grand Battle Plan used to give you 20% max planning. They nerfed it heavily before release. It was even more OP. And Superior Firepower used to give you 25% artillery extra artillery experience from combat, which is fun. But now let me show you something OP. Since Mass Assault is gone, Mobile Warfare looks better. No, let me see. Looks better than GP in single player. Now, this is an interesting point that you're raising. Yes, I can actually agree with the armored templates, because the extra speed and planning speed means I will probably run a test. I'll do a GBP Germany, a Mobile Warfare Germany, but I'm pretty sure Mobile Warfare will let you cap the enemies faster and with less casualties. So I think you're probably right. But let me show you something absolutely OP in here. Then I don't want to spoil everything about Doctrines. We'll leave it for another day because it's super late and I have a couple more things that I want to show you. Which one do you want to see first? Okay, actually, one of them is OP. Just know that one of the groups is OP, not only the doctrine itself, but one of the groups is OP. I will let you guess. Let me do another poll since I'm in the mood for polls now. Which sub tree is OP? So, infantry, support. I forgot the other two. Support, armor, operations, of course. Armor. I will show you the one that wins, and one of them is way more overpowered than the other ones. Support. Ah, thank you. Yeah, early access was awesome, but there is more than that. There is more than that I cannot reveal yet, and it's something connected with the Doctrines, not just early access. You will see. Let me give you one more minute, and then it's incredibly balanced. 30% on infantry. I need a winner. So the moment one of them goes above the others, I will end the poll. Okay, let's end the poll now. Okay, so you voted infantry, support, armor, operations. Very interesting. Okay, so let me show you infantry then. The very cool thing is we get a lot of sub-doctrines. There are plenty of options in here. And some of them are terrible. The 50 army experience ones are pretty bad. I don't know if they are meant to be honestly, I don't know what they are meant to be. I don't know what their point is. But yeah, this one buffs militia, irregulars, and you can pick only one. Yes, you can pick only one. And the moment you pick one, so say we pick, say we are suicidal and we pick irregulars because we just want to lose fast. Then we, okay, then I closed everything. Now then I gave myself some mastery, right? So now we unlocked everything. This, of course, would happen by fighting, normally, over time. And then let's move on to the Great Warrior Infantry, and you lose all of the mastery, and you also lose the milestone, so you don't really want to switch. In principle, if you can avoid switching, you don't want to switch. I'm thinking because operations are planning and buffs. Callum, you're absolutely right, by the way. Spoiler alert, operations is the OP one. You guys were completely wrong. Operation is the OP one. Cash, then you were right. So, so what's interesting in here is this one. So maybe now mounted stuff can work, because one of the main disadvantages of cavalry is it never had good doctrines, but now it does. Now it does. So mounted infantry, you can see it down there, gets plus 20% hard attack, just like that. But can you see an insane buff down there? Look down there. Can you see something crazy? For cavalry, I see a cavalry going faster than tanks. Yeah, plus 50%, plus 50% max speed on mounted infantry. That's the one. That's the one. So this can be a lot of fun. I don't think it's the best one, but it can be a lot of fun. Then what do we have in here? Well, this one is for communist only. It's a bit of a weird one. It sucks again, but yeah. But here is what saves the old mass assault that you were asking for. It's here. You can probably see it. It's infantry combat with minus 0.3. So this is the one that reduces the infantry combat weight. If you want to go for big stacks of infantry, you will go and pick large units, unit tactics. So this is the one. Mobile infantry, in my opinion, is pretty bad, actually. It's not many buffs. You only get a discount for the technology truck right away. But yeah, not much there. This one is quite crazy. This one is quite crazy. Plus 20% in entrenchment right away, and plus 20% entrenchment later on. It's plus 40% entrenchment. This one is absolutely crazy. Defensively, this one is absolutely crazy. And then there is the default one, in my opinion, the one that you want to pick in most of your games, which is assault infantry. It just mostly buffs support artillery. The second buff down here, it's quite insane, right? Support artillery 10% soft attack, okay, but then leg infantry battalion soft attack plus 20% if you have support artillery. So this one is very, very good. And yeah, it's quite long. It's long because of this tooltip. Otherwise, what you could do is you just see that the soft attack and then you check the buffs one by one like this. But that's the idea. Okay, then the second most voted was support. So let's check support. And support, in my opinion, is the most underwhelming, probably, of these sub-doctrine trees. It's the one that I usually pick last. But in here, there is the biggest news, which is this one. Artillery combat with minus 0.8. I showed this in a short a few days ago. So this means... line artillery is now a new thing. It's one of the main disadvantages, being a 3 combat with instead of 2. It's just no longer there. So now we need to rethink the meta with line artillery. And depending on how that goes, then superior firepower with the buff to line artillery and support artillery might not be as bad as it looks. I'm still convinced that even if you go for a line artillery build, it's probably better to still get the extra planning rather than the line artillery soft attack, but there is that option. Then anti-tank just gives you buffs to anti-tank, so very multiplayer oriented. I think in multiplayer this one is good because it's huge buffs, but it's only multiplayer. This one is only for helicopters. This one is only for super heavy howitzers and railway guns. But actually the buffs to railway guns and super heavy artillery are big. Look at that up there. Railway artillery bombardment plus 25%. That's huge. So this one, if you go for railway guns and super heavy artillery, will be super good. Super good. The other ones, I don't know. Yeah, this one buffs line artillery. The thing is, if you're going for line artillery, you absolutely want this one. So there is no point in picking this. And this one, armored cars and light tanks. No, not really. Not really. I don't think so. This one is for SPGs. So self-propelled anti-air, self-propelled artillery, and so on. And siege artillery sounds great with a little Kaiser Praetor. Yes, I think I haven't tried it yet, but I think this will be fun. Then the default one. I think this will be the default pick. When you don't know what to do, you just pick field engineering. It buffs the engineer company. I mean, can never go wrong with that one. So I think probably in most of the games you go for this one. When you don't know what to pick, you pick field engineering. Then since you voted operations last, we'll get there last, so let's go to armor. Armor, in my opinion, there is a very good one here, which is streamlined deployment. This one buffs breakthrough and soft attack on all tanks right away, and then later on you get more recovery rate, organization. It's just very good on tanks, in my opinion. So this is a solid pick for tanks. And if you are not using tanks... by the way, guys, something I didn't show you. Of course, to accumulate mastery, you need to use divisions of that type. So infantry mastery will increase when you use infantry, motorized, mechanized. Support and artillery will increase when you use line artillery, support, and support companies. Armor will increase when you use armored cars and tanks. And operations increases with everything, which is another good thing. It increases with line artillery, infantry, artillery, tanks, and everything. So it's also one of the easiest to unlock. That's why that's one of the reasons why operations is so good. And armor is tricky because if you don't use tanks, you're not going to be able to unlock anything in here. And so at that point, you can just pick armored spearhead, which gives you breakthrough right away. So you just get the tactic breakthrough. If you unlock this, you can immediately pick... You can immediately pick breakthrough as your tactic. That's pretty nice. And then let's get to the OP one. Then let's talk about coal and the navy. Fuck, we have 2 more topics and I have no time. Okay, quickly, but I say that the operations are the most OP. What should we start with? The most OP one? No, I will show you this one first. Look at this one. So remember how Mass Assault? Yeah, Mass Assault gave you 48 hours supply grace and nothing else. Well, you can just pick Desperate Defense, and you get 5% recruitable population right away. You also get non-combat out of supply penalties minus 20%, more than Mass Assault. Supply grace 72 hours, more than Mass Assault. And look at the last buff, 20% soft attack for the entire army. Everything. Talk of OP. So this single sub-doctrine is better than all of the Grand Doctrines combined. And it's not the best one. That's the funny part. This is not the best operations sub-doctrine. Because in my opinion, the best operations sub-doctrine is Grand Assault. Grand Assault instantly grants max planning 10%, breakthrough 10%, soft attack on the entire army 5%. Then later on you get 5% air superiority, another 10% max planning, so that's 20% max planning, 10% coordination, 15% breakthrough on the entire army. Yeah, so this one is broken. This one is absolutely broken. I will let you realize and read how broken it is. But that's not all. I mean, you don't need to pick this one because there are so many good options in here. Another very good one. Yeah, these are also all so good. Yeah, exactly. It's insane. There is nothing bad in here. It's just all good. Everything is good. But then you check infiltration tactics and you say, well, can it be better than that? Yeah, I can. I'm allowed to leave the live up. I cannot release videos, but this live can stay up. So you can check it. You can check it later too. Okay, then you move to infiltration tactics. You still get the max planning. You also get 25% land knight attack. You get 10% supply consumption reduction. You get more soft attack. You get breakthrough on the entire army, organization on tanks. So this is also very, very good. And then there is another very cool one. This one is super interesting. Look at this. I really like the Doctrine rework, by the way, for stuff like this. First of all, you get guerrilla tactics right away, the best defensive tactic in the game. Then the buffs to irregularity and irregulars and militia are not great. But then you get a lot of political power, mobilization speed, stability, party popularity, war support. So this doctrine actually buffs your government more than the army. So this one is super interesting in my opinion. And we'll not talk about the other ones, but you got a highlight of the cool and interesting ones. Now, of course, all of these rework applies to Navy and Air as well. I haven't fully gotten into it. I need to make the same insanely long document about the Navy. But I do want to show you something in here. Just one thing, maybe. Let's say that you go for Fleeting Being. And I want to show you one combo. Some of you may know about it because I talked about it in a poll on my channel a few days ago. So if you go for Torpedo Primacy, you get 25% nighttime attack, and you also unlock the Spirit Night Fighting. This one would require base strike, but you can also unlock it if you have Torpedo Primacy. And the combination of the two is 35% extra night damage attack, which is very cool if you consider you just need to pick the two. You don't need to unlock anything. Just selecting this one and picking night fighting, immediately you get 35% night attack, which is very good. And then the other one I usually pick is in here. I pick this one, which reduces the Navy fuel consumption. And it gives you, actually here, let me remove the other ones because we mostly care about what we get right away with the Navy usually. And you get 10% extra attack when your fleet fights alongside the Pride of the Fleet, which is the main Navy, the main ship in your Navy. So you usually get this one. Space Marines are equally as good, I would say, equally as good. And yeah, now I would say in general there is not that much difference between the three. The buffs the initial buffs are not that big in any case. Port strikes though, if you rely on air, port strikes 40%. It's huge. Trade interdiction, yeah, you get some buffs. Nothing too crazy, honestly. Nothing too crazy. And Fleeting Being, you just get the buff to battleships. But I do believe that you need... no, you don't need it for this one. Yeah, so never mind. You can pick whatever you want, and then the sub-doctrines are fine. Okay, let's not talk about the doctrines. I just want to briefly talk about the Rangers. Rangers are the new special forces you get. Only if you buy the DLC. So while these Doctrines are available without the DLC, Rangers are only available if you buy the DLC. Let's go back to the Philippines, since they actually start with Rangers, which is quite cool. They start with one division, but it's a very cool division. It's this one. So here are the Rangers. You get a nice tree. And you get the same exact stats as Mountaineers. They are a copy of Mountaineers. So by default, the battalion is the same as the Mountaineers, but you get the buffs in forests and jungles instead of hills and mountains. Many of the buffs down here are also the same, but one of the biggest differences is this very cool one down here. So hold the line that reduces the Mountaineers combat width by 0.2, and this one that buffs the line artillery by 20%. They don't have the same ones here. So in here they don't reduce the combat width, so Rangers don't have that one. Instead they get some extra stats in forests and jungles. And the support artillery gets a buff to breakthrough and defense instead of soft attack. So that's not as good in my opinion. But I think Rangers will be good. My main issue with Rangers is that, in my personal opinion, they don't make any sense. Like, nobody ever used Rangers in any war as a battalion. Rangers should not be a battalion. I mean, prove me wrong, but Rangers are a support company, and in no war were Rangers used as a battalion. And what pisses me off the most is that now they might be the best division to use in jungles. They are, in fact, the best divisions to use in jungles, but that should be Marines. Like, I'm sure some of you were in the army, and some of you know it's Marines that fight in the jungles. It shouldn't be Rangers. But I will not. I mean, if they are good and fun, I'm okay with that. I don't care that much. I'm not that obsessed about historical accuracy. Konnichiwa, Oleg. Buggy or not? No. No, I didn't encounter that many bugs, to be honest. No. The thing that reminded me of Graveyard of Empires was the feeling with the focus trees. In terms of bugs, I would say not that bad. No. Boys, we have left two topics, and it's gonna be later than I planned, but it's okay. I'll do it for you. You better subscribe. You better subscribe to the channel. I'm staying up all night for you. You better subscribe. So we have left two big topics: coal and the Navy. Which one do we do? Coal, Navy. Cool. I don't think I need the poll. Let's end it. Oh, yeah, actually, Navy was going for a comeback. No, let's talk about coal. Let me tag Finland to give you an idea. Okay, so in my opinion, coal is the worst thing about the DLC. I'll be straight about that. I didn't like coal when they talked about it in the first developers diary months ago. I kind of hope that they forgot about it and they changed their mind. They didn't. And I don't know. It's incredibly, in my opinion, coal is incredibly annoying. Incredibly annoying. So it works in a very basic way, and that's why it's annoying. Let me remove this. This debug thing. Simply, the way you play with coal is you just import it. It's just one more thing that you need to import. No. Where do you think all of the coal in the world is? Of course, it's in the United States. all of the coal in the world is in the United States. No, actually, let me show you something here. Let me show you something. Something from the Roman Empire run that you will see in a few days. No, Germany doesn't have a ton of coal. They have some, but no. Okay, so this is the main issue with coal is when you play as a major, but even one like Italy doesn't have any coal. Like if we go to check the coal in Italy is 2 in Sardinia and 2 in here. So you have 4 coal, and maybe there is 3 in there. As Italy you don't have coal. But the only thing you do is you just open the trade tab and you import coal. And you keep doing that. And you keep pausing the game to import fucking coal. And that's the experience that you have with coal until you get to the end, to 1940. Or to when you succeed, right? When you succeed, like in this case, now here we are in the Imperium Romanum, but not only the Imperium Romanum, we have all of these. This is all under our control. This is either controlled by us or it's our puppets, okay? Yeah, so for example, the UK. The UK is our puppet. So all of the coal in the UK, which is quite a lot, I can show you. So as you can see, 14, 23, 88, 59, 20, 37. So there is quite a lot of coal. All of this coal we are taking right now because we have, because we are next them, and not only we are next them, as you know, we are the Imperium Romanum, so we code all of this stuff. So we get 106 coal from here. So you must be thinking, okay, well, damn, at this point, you get all of this coal, you should be fine, right? 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 I should be fine, right? Yeah. That's how fine I am. $1,768 coal deficit. And we are importing all of the coal that we can import. We are importing everything from Germany, 63 by the way, and everything we can from the Soviet Union. And even if we imported everything we can from the entire world, all of the world, say that the United States allowed me to import coal and I imported all of it. It would be 734. It would still not be enough. We still wouldn't have enough. But you must be saying, yeah, okay, but they added coal for one reason, and the reason was to demobilize your economy. And you must be saying, well, you're on war economy. That's why. Why don't you switch back? Why don't you demobilize? Okay, let's demobilize. Done. We demobilized. Now we only have a deficit of 814 coal. And still, even with the civilian, even back in civilian economy, even importing the entire coal in the world, we wouldn't have enough coal. That's what I think about coal. It's the United States, the country with the most coal. You can see it from here. I mean, now probably is not the best moment to show you because we control most of the world. The UK probably has a lot too, but the US has the most coal. We all, many people complained about coal because as a major, it's boring and it's annoying. Ah, yes, what's the malus for not having coal? I think we can see it from, maybe from here. I don't know where we can see the malus from not having coal. I mean, we are at 57% energy demand satisfied. Where the fuck do we see it? Maybe here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, here you can see it. 27% less production efficiency. Or output, I mean. 27% less output because we lack coal. It's huge. It's huge. Not only that, but also constructions are slowed down by 15%. So building now, it's 15% slower. Because of the lack of coal. Now, the problem is, at this point I don't care because the run is over, we won. We destroyed everyone and everything. So, okay, fine, who cares? And the problem is... when you play a minor, Where is my beloved Finland? Yeah, but we're all gonna die without coal. By the way, in here maybe we can see who has the most coal. Yeah, you can see it here. So this is the starting coal in the world. It's almost everything is in the States, then the UK, Soviet Union, Germany doesn't actually have that much coal. Yeah, and that's the rest. Okay, then say that you start as Finland. You have absolutely no coal. So you start with no coal, and you start already with a minus 10% to the already very poor output that you have because you don't have coal. And if you build something, everything you're building is 10% slower to build because you don't have coal. So, and if you want to import it, since we only lack one coal, but that's one civilian factory that has to go away. So that's it. That's our civilian. Now we fix the problem, but we had 4 civilian factories and 1 is gone. So that's 25% of our production power gone. So I don't even know if it's worth it or not. It's probably not worth it. It's probably better to keep the coal deficit. All it does is it forces you in practice, because it doesn't change anything about how you play the game. The main difference is you need to open this tab, you need to click here, you need to click here, you need to click here, you need to click here every 10 seconds. Especially when you play as a major later on. And when you play as a minor, yes, it's a struggle. I will mention this in the video that I'm releasing tomorrow, guys, in which I cover these topics in a more concentrated, compact way. And I talked about this with the developers. Other creators also complained, so something may be done about this. But let's talk about the last topic that we have left, guys. Let's talk about the Navy. Let's talk about the Navy. So let me tag Italy, actually. Oh my god. Fucking Italian AI. Let me restart with Italy. Yeah, the Navy, then I go to sleep. The Navy is I'm mixed about the Navy. Okay, I have mixed feelings. But let's start with something bad. Something bad is this. Say that we want to plan a naval invasion of Greece, right? Well, bad news. So naval invasions now allow 6 divisions into a maximum of 2 groups. So you can no longer split the divisions into many small groups. So it used to be that you go for a naval invasion with 10 divisions. The best way used to be, okay, then we do 10 separate naval invasions of 1 or 2. And that's gonna be fast, right? Well, bad news. Now you cannot, once you reach the maximum cap, which is 2, you can no longer click here. So is it gonna be fast? Yeah. It's just gonna take 50 days. So the way you do naval invasions now is, yeah, it takes 50 days. And there is no easy way of making it faster. So the way you do the naval invasion now is you must be... Why can I not count? You must be doing it in groups, in 2 groups, if you want to optimize it. So you do it in 2 groups of 6. The duration, the amount of time doesn't change, no matter how many divisions, how many groups. It's always 50 days. You can click multiple provinces, so you can split them around in this way. Then you select the other 6, and you do it, again, and then you wait for 50 days and have a lot of fun. And by the way, this is not the DLC. You all get this, whether you like it or not. This is what we get for naval invasions. And that's why, if you watched, not many of you watched it, but if you watched my recent video about general traits, in that video I said that Invader would become one of the best traits, and I stand by that. I think now Invader is going to... Where is Sebastiano Visconti Prasca? Motherfucker. He doesn't have it, by the way, but Invader is going to reduce from 50 days to 35 days the invasion time. So Invader makes a big difference. So Invader is actually good. No. No bonuses. Absolutely no bonus. It just takes... instead of taking 15 days, it now takes 50 days. That's the only thing. Now, what you can do is when you unlock... I'm starting to be too tired. Now, when you unlock the technology, this one increases the capacity per naval invasion by 4, so you can go up to 10. And the naval invasion plan capacity by 3, plus 3. I actually... let me see exactly what this means, because it's not... so now we have a total of 6... No, wait, it didn't record it yet, I think. Okay, yeah. Groups of 10, and you can send up to 5. So when you research landing craft, it's actually up to a total of 50. So that's pretty decent. But it's also quite late. And it takes 10 days less. So in 40 days, you can trigger a total of 50 men into 5 groups. That's decent, but it's late again. And this probably means the AI doesn't stop spamming naval invasions, because the AI, when the AI triggers naval invasions, they have that technology probably. So they do it in that way. Okay, but this wasn't really the Navy, right? So let's talk about the Navy. The new system with the Navy is naval dominance. Focus tree duration changes? No, other than the new ones? No, I don't think so. So in my run as Italy, for example, we naval invade Greece. I think I have a save. Let me see if I have a save. I do. Look at this. So that's perfect. And then I will probably show you the UK as well before we stop. So here we planned the naval invasion of Greece, and now when you need to naval invade, you needed to have Green Sea. First of all, Green Sea is no longer green; it's now a bit more blue. Like, can you tell where we have the naval supremacy or not? If you look at this map, would you be able to tell where we have the supremacy or not? Can you see the difference between this region and this region? Like, this one is slightly more blue than this one. So we need to get dominance, okay? You need to get dominance to this line here, 66%. That's what you need to trigger the naval invasion. And you need it in all of the 3 sea regions that you're covering. That's normal. That's the same thing that it used to be with supremacy, except now it's called dominance. But the biggest difference is dominance is gained over time. So you don't start with dominance. And you don't get it instantly. Let me try actually one thing here. If we stop the Navy, you can see dominance goes down very, very quickly. So now dominance is at 0. To get dominance, you need to have at least part of the Navy on patrol. Patrol is the only mission that gives you dominance. Nothing else gives you dominance. Let's see if some of you can realize immediately why this is a huge deal. Why is it a big deal that you need patrol to get dominance? That's the biggest change. In the end, if we reduce it to one thing, the biggest change is this one. Exactly, Mighty. You got it. So the main point is with naval invasion or strike force, what you were doing before, you could get Green Sea without ever engaging the enemy fleet. You just used to set your fleet maybe on strike force, maybe on naval invasion support. You let them in the harbor. The moment you get Green Sea, you trigger the naval invasion. Well, that's no longer the case, because now you need to patrol the sea regions, which means you need to engage the enemy navies. There is no way around that. Now, since dominance is gained over time, what you need to do is, say in this case, we select our 3 destroyers groups. We set them on patrol. So now they cover these 3 sea regions. Yeah, there is also the problem of fuel. It's much more expensive in terms of fuel because you need the navy to be out there. It cannot be in the harbor. And then you check here and you can see the naval dominance is increasing over time. Now, this is what you're seeing now is how much it increases without an enemy fleet. There is only us here. There is nobody else in here. We are not contested by anyone. So this is just what we are doing with nobody else. What about the other missions? So Patrol gives you naval dominance. Strike Force boosts the naval dominance on the patrolling ships. So now we have the larger ships in here. If we set them on Strike Force, they will stay in the harbor. They will engage, of course, if there is a battle. And they will increase the amount of dominance the destroyers give you. However, Strike Force now consumes fuel. Even if they stay in the harbor, they still consume fuel. It's minus 75%, but you still consume that remaining 25% of the fuel. And yes, you need to split the navy, because if you don't, so if you wanted just one death stock, you will not be able to cover the sea regions. If I merge them into one, yeah, on Strike Force you can, but on Patrol you cannot. So Patrol can only cover one sea region per patrol group. So if you need an invasion that goes over 3 regions, then you need necessarily a minimum of 3 groups on patrol. Okay, then what about submarines, you asked? Submarines usually stay on convoy raiding. Convoy raiding doesn't give you any dominance, but it decreases the enemy dominance. So right now it's completely useless. But if we were fighting against another navy, then having the submarines on convoy raiding would give us dominance. Or better, would remove their dominance and increase consequently our dominance. Okay, so this is the way the basics, at least, about the dominance system. And what about convoy escort and naval invasion support? Well, those are used the same as before. Naval invasion support, in my opinion, is now the worst one. It's almost completely useless. Instead of doing naval invasion support, what I usually do is I select some of the larger ships and I manually send them to where they need to be. So if I am invading Athens, then I will send some ships here so that I get the shore bombardment when we invade. Now, a couple more things. It requires a lot more micromanagement. It's not a set on and forget kind of thing. You need to be careful. You need to know what you're doing. You need to carefully manage it. It's much more confusing than before. You get more control over it. So, for example, up here, you now have a new option. You click it. You can select exactly which type of ships you want to engage. So if you're fighting a stronger navy and you don't want to engage their carriers, you select this option, you unselect this option here, and then your fleet will no longer engage them if they have carriers. Will attempt not to engage enemy carriers. So it requires more micromanagement. In short, it requires more micromanagement. But not everything is bad about the Navy rework. Okay, it's bad, but not as bad as it looks. Let me show you why. I think I may have it somewhere here. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Let me see also what you're talking about. Focus trees and doctrines look like big wins. Coal and navy changes seems like huge loss. Alors, so in short, focus trees, I don't know. We need to wait and see. Doctrines, maybe not right now, but it's a good idea. It's a good change. It will be good. Coal, I hate coal. It's completely useless. I don't see the point of coal. So my opinion on coal is extremely negative. About the navy, I'm very worried about the navy, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. And now let me show you something. So this is an invasion of the UK. This is the run. This is a run of as Italy, and we are about to invade the UK. So now we need to get dominance in the channel. We could be getting it somewhere else, but say that we want a dominance in the channel. So I prepared my fleet more or less in the way I showed you. So we have the submarines on convoy raiding, we have the destroyers on patrol, and we have the larger ships on strike force. We are doing a build which is particularly good because we are doing the night attack build. So the one I showed you earlier, night attack here, line of battle here, night fighting here. And then we also have green air in the channel. Okay, as you can see, we have green air, we have some naval bombers, but nothing crazy. It's the Italian Air Force, not the German one. Okay, now let's trigger this thing. I think we actually already triggered this thing. I also set them on always engage here, but that's not really necessary. So here we have some submarines engaging. Let's see if the Royal Navy shows up. Okay, here they showed up. And now, technically, if everything goes well, our larger ships should go there and engage them. Yeah, they're going. Okay, so we are engaging them here. And we're actually massively kicking their ass, as you can see right here. Massively kicking their ass. So in here, we lost one submarine. They lost 13 destroyers, 1 light cruiser, and so on. And... yeah, so we're fighting the French Navy and the Royal Navy together in this particular scenario. And we are kicking their ass. And in this particular moment, we have 96% control ratio and dominance over the channel. So we are completely dominating the channel. Again, another fight in which we're engaging them. Now, why is this happening? How does this happen? One reason is what we are doing with Italy, which you will see in the guide. No spoilers there. The other reason is probably, let's tag the UK. So if we check the UK, we probably, I can imagine that a big chunk of their fleet is not there. Yeah, so they have a big fleet in here. These ones are subs, I believe. So only part, maybe half, maybe less than half of their fleet is in the UK. The rest is spread around. So this part we can destroy. Of course, this is as Italy though. When you play as Finland and when you play as Portugal, good luck. Good luck destroying the Royal Navy. That said, I do have a save in which... I think I do have a save. Maybe I don't. Do I have the Philippines save to show you? Wait a second. Wait a second. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I do. I do. I don't know if I have to rewrite the guides though. Yeah, look at this. Look at this Philippines scoring Spain. Scoring Spain, scoring Mexico. Look at these insane Philippines. And here I was just testing the run, but this is unfortunately before they fixed the bug. So this is when I could just become independent from the United States very easily. So I could easily do this. That's no longer the case probably. It's still February 1940, so it's not super early, but it looked potentially good. I should have somewhere in here Portugal. Okay, yeah, here I do. So the runs I tested so far in the DLC, my guides that I tested are Portugal, I tested Italy of course, I tested Finland, and I tested Austria. And with all of them, somehow I managed to invade the UK, which is good news. And Portugal is probably the toughest one because Portugal has a shitty navy. It's not trained. It's mostly destroyers. Like, this is a very bad navy. I don't know exactly how I managed to trigger this naval invasion, and I don't think, unfortunately, it's very consistent. But one thing you can do is you set them on engage at low risk instead of engage at medium risk. And then you set them to avoid carriers at the very least. And then you set them on patrol in here. Then you also need to click this icon to change the naval base, the starting naval base. And then you see what happens. Yeah, engaging them, not great. Engaging them already, not great. Yeah, we are losing to submarines, that's how bad we are. And of course we go for DC region because going through the channel would be a suicide. And And the sea region is still OP, by the way. You can naval invade from here without supremacy in here or in here. You just need it in here. Now, my only question is, where the fuck is my navy? Ah, it's here. Okay. So, yeah, as you can see, it's very, very slowly going up. So if you're lucky enough, and I don't know, if the UK is not there, if they take too long to go there, you may be able to get dominance in this very, very, very slow way. And if you feel a little bit more confident, maybe you can change them to engage at medium risk, and you have a chance to getting it earlier. Actually, what we really need to do, though, is import some oil. Yeah, so... I mean, the main thing is right now you can see that the Royal Navy is not engaging us, and if they don't engage us, we may have a chance. But no, not right now. For example, it stopped. Why did it stop? I don't know. Let's try to split them. You need to play around a little bit. Of course, it's overall not great. And if you lose one naval battle, which is probably going to happen now, I think we're doomed. I think this invasion is not happening anymore. No, maybe. But if we lose this one. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there are some changes to naval supplies as well. I mean, we're very close. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, we got it. Okay, we got it. Now we trigger the invasion. And I mean, then it's the usual stuff. I mean, this is promising because we did it as Portugal, and Portugal is probably one of the worst navies among all of my guides. We didn't steal the Italian Navy, we didn't steal the German Navy. Usually I can steal at least one of those two. I think I didn't micro enough for this naval invasion, so probably the actual invasion of the UK may fail, but... Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the point, right? We talked about the point. Boys, I think we talked about almost everything. The only thing I didn't mention is the faction system. I will mention it tomorrow in the dedicated video, so check it out. The faction system is the only thing that is exclusively for the DLC. No, one thing I need to show you though. One thing which is absolutely crazy. Which is related to the factions. How late is it? Fucking hell. Okay. Wait. Okay. So, one more thing that they changed is the war tension is much lower than before. It is lower than before because of some of the stuff that happens with Japan and China. But it's mainly lower than before because now in peace conferences, the generated tension is much lower. Not a good example, actually. Let me find... No, okay, this one. So here we just capped the allies as Japan. And if we annex the United Kingdom, annex France, annex Luxembourg, annex Belgium, annex the Netherlands, annex Australia, annex Canada, annex New Zealand, annex everything... Annex India, look at what happens to the war tension up there. Instead of increasing, it decreases by 17%. You may be thinking like, well, why do we care? Why is that important? Yeah, but that's a big part of the game. That's not something you can just change and think, okay, nothing is gonna happen in the world. I mean, that's a core mechanic in the game. So, okay, so what's the problem with that? Wait, you can't see? What do you mean you can't see? Ah, it was covered by the subscriber goal. Fuck. Anyways, the war tension decreases, right? So this is my run with Austria, and we just defeated Germany, and we annexed Germany entirely. What's the problem here? The war tension, instead of increasing, it's down at 41%. If you check my video before the DLC, at this point, when you annex Germany as Austria, the war tension would be around 60%. Why does it matter? Well, because we are non-aligned. And so if we try to justify on anyone, we cannot, because the war tension is too low. So non-aligned countries are screwed because we can no longer justify claims if the war tension is not high enough. And the thing is, Germany is gone in this particular run, so Germany cannot trigger World War II. So Paradox created an incredible world of peace. There are no more wars available. We can no longer justify war goals. World War II is not gonna trigger, so that's the end of the world in terms of wars. We can attack Italy, or better, we get attacked by Italy in the same way as we do with my usual strategy. And later on I tested it to see what would happen. So I was like, maybe when we annex Italy or puppet Italy, maybe the problem will be fixed. Well, this is what happened. This is what happened when I annexed Italy as well. The war tension actually went from 41% down to 36%. So there is only one workaround to this, but you're not gonna like it. So the only solution to this problem is in here. You need to be in a faction. We are the central powers. You need to go to the rules. You need to go to all rules. In here, you can change when we can declare war justification, and you can reduce the required war tension by 20% at the cost of some stability. So we go on and do that, and now we can again justify war goals. Now we only need 30%. What's the problem with this? The problem with this is the faction tab is only available to those who purchase the DLC. So if you didn't buy the DLC, you still have the war tension problem and you don't have the solution to it. There's no way to fix it. And the other problem is you need to be in a faction, or you need to have a faction, and you need a faction point to change the rules. So this is not available to every country. It's quite specific. At least I saved Austria, but yeah, but that's a problem in general. Mind that coal, the navy, and the war tension problems are all things I talked about with the developers. They listened. They proved to be flexible enough to make changes. The reason why we could invade the UK earlier with Portugal is because they made some changes. Initially it was completely impossible. So they already made some changes. They promised to make some changes about coal. What I suggested when it comes to coal is to add some base coal to all countries. So to have all countries start with at least 5 coal by default. So at least minors don't start without coal. Let's call it state coal or something like that. They're probably not going to do that, but they say they will add some base energy production. So all countries will start with at least a base energy production. So they will not need to import coal at the beginning of the game. About the navy, they promised that they will adjust it a bit more, and maybe they already did, because now it's possible to invade the UK. And about war tension, the main difference I saw is that now the peace conference decreases the war tension, which in my opinion doesn't make any sense. I mean, Japan annexes the world and war tension goes down. Why? But what increased is the war tension that you generate when you declare wars. It's now 8 or 9% in this case here for these wars. It used to be less. It used to be less than this. So they tried to rebalance it so that it's more expensive in terms of war tension to declare war, and it actually reduces it when you finish the war in the peace conference. I can see the logic in a way behind that. Like the war triggers, the war tension increases, the war ends, and the war tension decreases. I can see the logic, but I don't see how Austria annexing Germany and Italy would decrease the war tension. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Now let me check the last few comments, and then guys, I will wish you a good day and wish myself a good night. Did they fix a guarantee thing as well, Maki? Oh, by the way, with guarantees they did something absolutely terrible, but they fixed it after that. However, there is something in here, I think. So you can also change the rules of the guarantee. It must be somewhere in here. I don't know. So I tried my run as Finland, and the UK and France guaranteed my targets, even though the word tension was below 25% and my generated word tension was below 10%. And they said the allies are now able to do that, but only later in the run when they completed part of their manifesto or whatever this shit is. I think they fixed it now, because when I tried the run again, that didn't happen. Other than that, the allies still guarantee the countries you justify on. Yes. Which confirmed this as a feature, the lower word tension. It's intended. It's intended. I don't think they meant it to be like a paywall, but it's intended. Yeah, it's like it's a difficult game. So I know the developers really care. In the early access, I was talking to them a lot with other creators, and you can tell they really care about their game, and they are trying to do the best for the game and for the community. We shouldn't think that they make things just to make money, especially not the developers, okay? I will give you one more thing, one more example. So one of the options, when we were talking about the naval invasions, I proposed a couple of things. I said, okay, if you want naval dominance to be harder, why don't you add a possibility to organize an operation with spy networks? So you plan something like a covert invasion, secret naval invasion, okay? A naval invasion that you plan through spy networks and that you trigger without needing naval dominance. So you give an option with maluses, maybe less divisions, I don't know, maximum 6 divisions, just to take one harbor, something like that. Something that gives an option to miners, which cannot afford to gain naval dominance, to trigger naval invasion and not to be stuck in an endless war with the UK. This is one of the options I offered. I also offered the other option, which was why don't we get the chance to request navies from our puppets the same way we request forces, for example. Or why don't we get part of the navies when we capitulate a country, even if not in a peace conference. Like say you cap France, why don't we take part of the French Navy? Like we take part of the infantry equip, part of the trains and everything else. So I proposed all of these options. And what they said is about the spy operation one, for example, is we don't like something like that because it would be paywalled behind La Resistance, having the DLC. So I was sad that they didn't accept my idea, but you can tell that the developers don't want the game to be paywalled behind DLCs. They don't want profit, and they want to make changes which are good for the game. And they genuinely try to do so. In my opinion, the big mistake, and what they maybe don't realize sometimes, is that changing something in this game, since it's a very complex game in which many things need to work together, you make one change and everything collapses around it. You change the word tension. I don't think they realized when they changed it. They just thought, okay, maybe war tension should be lower after the peace conference because the war is over, so war tension should be lower. Okay, makes sense. They didn't realize that if you keep the war tension lower, then non-aligned countries can no longer justify a claim. And what happens? What are the consequences for such a complex game if you change something like the naval invasion mechanic? You add coal, you think it's a cool idea, and then all of the miners that start without coal, they have massive penalties. Why? Where is the balancing in that? But they don't do it on purpose, and when you point it out to them, they try to fix the problem. So all of these problems are being addressed and improved. They have already been improved compared to the first early access I got, and hopefully they will keep improving them. But it's such a complex game now that even just one small change can fuck everything up. So it's that's why I'm overall a bit skeptical about changes that affect basic mechanics like naval invasions and war tension. And I am much more positive about stuff like this, which may change the meta, but it doesn't necessarily affect the core mechanics of the game. New doctrines, new sub-doctrines will not be balanced right away. Now, there will be the best picks, you always pick those ones, some of them will be a bit broken. They will fix that, but it doesn't break the game. You know what I mean? Other stuff breaks the game, and it's a mess then to fix it. And speaking of broken game, and with this awesome portrait of what the AI, the British AI does with their forces, I think it's a perfect time to end our stream and to go to sleep. About 1 hour later than I was planning, so tomorrow I need to sleep. But tomorrow night, around this time, or day for you, so in one day, make sure to check out the dedicated video in which I talk about all of these changes. There are some things that I didn't mention today. It's worth watching. It's also not very long. In 14 minutes, we talk about everything. And then on Saturday, you get the full Roman Empire guide, the updated Roman Empire guide, in which we also extensively talk about the Navy. I show you how to destroy the Royal Navy, how to achieve what we did in this live. I didn't show you the tricks. They are in the guide. And then next week, hopefully they don't mess it up. Next week, I show you OP Japan. Guys, that's all. Thank you for watching. Good day, good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.